Shortly after NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell finished his press conference Friday afternoon, ESPN's Outside the Lines published an investigative report that alleges, quote, purposeful direction by the Baltimore Ravens in the Ray Rice domestic assault case, stemming from claims the team knew exactly what happened in that elevator and quickly. We should note that NBC News has not independently confirmed details of the report, but I want to read a portion of it to you. Just hours after running back Ray Rice knocked out his then fiancée, the Baltimore Ravens Director of Security, Darren Sanders, reached an Atlantic City police officer by phone. While watching surveillance video, the officer, who happened to tell Sanders he was a Ravens fan, described in detail to Sanders what he was seeing. Sanders quickly relayed the damning video's play-by-play to team executives in Baltimore. I should underscore this reportedly happened not within days, not within weeks, not months, hours after the incident. The report adds, Ravens executives, in particular owner Steve Bisciotti, President Dick Cass, and General Manager Ozzie Newsome, began extensive public and private campaigns pushing for leniency for Rice on several fronts, from the judicial system in Atlantic County, where Rice faced assault charges, to Commissioner Goodell, who ultimately would decide the number of games Rice would be suspended from this fall, to within their own building, where some were arguing immediately after the incident that Rice should be released. Late Friday night, the Ravens issued this statement in response to the report, quote, the ESPN.com Outside the Lines article contains numerous errors, inaccuracies, false assumptions, and perhaps misunderstandings. The Ravens will address all of these next week in Baltimore after our trip to Cleveland for Sunday's game against the Browns. Now, I have to ask you to listen to what the Ravens owner told WBAL on September 10th, a few days after the elevator video was posted and they terminated Rice's contract. Take a listen.
If we had seen that video, we would have probably we would have probably been told that we should wait until the case came out. They had it, the police had it, and gave them equal misdemeanors that night. Again, that's astounding to me. And for me to tell you the truth, it makes me look like I'm pointing fingers at other people, but they gave them equal misdemeanors.
Okay, then this. I want to read one more quote really quickly because it's just too good. This is from the ESPN article. Quote, Rice's phone buzzed. He could scarcely believe what he was looking at. Back-to-back text messages from Bisciotti. Rice read them aloud so everyone in the room could hear them. Hey, Ray, just wanted to let you know we loved you as a player. It was great having you here. Hopefully all these things are going to die down. I wish the best for you and Janae. When you're done with football, I'd like you to know you have a job waiting for you with the Ravens, helping young guys getting acclimated to the league. Rice was flabbergasted. 1 minute, Bisciotti and the Ravens were essentially calling him a liar. The next, Bisciotti was quietly offering him a job. What does the league do with the Ravens, if anything?
There's a lot going on there. Well, this is what I will say. I don't take shots at anybody's credibility, but the way this system works today, when you can always attribute stories to the word sources, you're always going to have ambiguity. You're always going to have issues. You're always going to have, well, who's telling the truth? So I'm going to reserve my comments for knowing because I don't know yet. Go ahead.
Let me ask you like this, Chester. So as a former players rep, how does this new information affect the union's appeal to the league around Rice's indefinite
okay, you put me in a tough one there. I'm not an attorney by any stretch of the words, but I will say this. When you say that you don't know, you say that you don't have it, you've never seen the tape, you say that you would have done something differently had you seen the tape. If information comes to light that you had seen the tape, if information comes that contradicts any statement that you said, obviously that's going to help Ray in his case. I get it, the whole commissioner's list and having to be away from the league and waiting for everything to die down. I understand all of those things, but he's going to have a very strong case to get paid his money that he would have been due minus the 2 games. That was his original suspension, and he followed all the rules for that suspension, and everything that kind of went down the pipeline with that.
As bad as everything has been for Ray Rice, I mean, and deservedly so, since February, like, the last couple days have actually been about as good a news as you could hope in terms of him, getting his career back. Now, I mean, the odds of another NFL team signing him are really, really low, but like he does have, you would seem to be a stronger case for, getting his suspension lifted and maybe, them working some sort of way, right?
Yeah,
working around that in some sort of way. But everything you've seen in terms of like the public face of the league, like I think what was interesting about that report, if you believe everything in there, is that you see sort of the machine behind everything, nothing gets in the way of the game. Even the Ravens, they think that everything in that report is a lie. But wait, we're just going to wait a few days until we play the game.
So I want to play one more thing, Amy, and get you to respond to this. This is from the response of the Goodell to a reporter asking about Ray Rice. Let's take a listen.
What exactly did Ray Rice tell you happened in the elevator, and how did what you thought in your mind happened in the elevator differ from what we saw on the video?
Well, Judy, a couple things. First off, as I said, that we got new information.
Commissioner, what did he say? What did he tell you? What happened?
Well, the one issue with this is now a matter of appeal.
What about transparency? You keep talking about transparency. Why not say what he said?
Well, I'm telling you right now that it's inconsistent with what he told us.
Amy, is this the sort of thing that gets the commissioner?
That's a nice dodge. I mean, he was dodging as best he possibly could. I know, right? What's going on? Again, in terms of getting Roger Goodell fired, I think it's still a long shot. The owners, I think, as we sort of talked about, will most likely still continue to have his back. I wore this T-shirt this morning from my favorite TV show, The Wire, because there's a phrase after reading that ESPN article that keeps circling through my mind ever since last night, and that's chain of command. Chain of command. Look at that entire story. By the way, I also want to say the people who wrote that story for ESPN, I used to be in that unit, the Enterprise investigative unit there. I can guarantee you that story went through many levels of vetting, including lawyers for ESPN, and all the people who work within that unit are great journalists and great people. So separate from that, though, it's unbelievable to me that essentially, who looks the best coming out of that story is Ray Rice.
Right.
I mean, and by the way, the most savvy. That passage about someone giving him advice to take a screenshot of the phone without the owner's name and the cell phone, which allowed ESPN to confirm that in fact it was, and the Ravens had to admit, yes, in fact, our owner did text message Ray Rice that ridiculous sort of contradictory statement. It just sort of proves that. It only underscores how terribly the league has handled this entire situation. And the Ravens.
That will be the last word for now on this. People on Twitter want to know where you got that T-shirt.
I see that. I don't know if I want to give it up.
All right.
I'll go on Twitter. How about that?
Tweet Amy on Twitter. Thank you very much to Joel Anderson, Amy K. Nelson, and Chester Pitts. Still to come this morning, a completely different NFL story than the one you've been hearing about.